It's time to focus on seniors with Helping Seniors TV. The television show designed to make you aware of senior issues and needs, as well as to acquaint you with the resources available to help you age in place and with dignity. Now, here's your host, Joe Steckler.
I'm Kay Kaiser, and welcome to Helping Seniors, the television arm of Helping Seniors of Brevard County. Our show is designed to provide you with information on how to develop your own aging and care plans. Our topic today is in-home personal services. Joining me today are Dr. Christina Paff and Steve Paff. Welcome to our program.
Thank you, Kay.
Well, let me ask you, you are a kind of, not only a couple, how did you come up with getting involved in this franchise called In-Home Personal Services?
I have been home care physical therapist for about 8 years.
Okay.
And so I've seen enough for in-home care that after about 8 years, we had a conversation about wanting to do something ourselves, have our own routine, our own schedule, and thought what better way than to do what I have loved for years and years and to be able to help the elderly population.
Excellent. And Steve, you have an unusual background, not related to this at all.
Not at all, not at all. The only reason I'm really involved with this is because I fell in love with this beautiful girl here. My background is actually in advertising and marketing. So what we had thought about this business was what better way, to work together, because we've always wanted to work together in some capacity. Even when we were dating, we'd always talked about having some kind of a business. It's been a dream of ours for really since we've met.
Yeah. Wow.
And we didn't think that the healthcare industry was really a reality for us. And then we kind of stumbled upon this sector, and one thing led to another, and here we are today. And it's been nothing but a blast, working together and meeting a lot of very new, interesting people. It's been great.
It's got to be rewarding working as partners together.
It really is.
Yeah.
It really is.
Golly.
And we've got our kids involved. We have 2 little girls. And,
fantastic.
And they have their little in-home T-shirts. And
wonderful.
So it's definitely a family affair.
They love going to facilities and seeing people. And,
You teach them young and then dealing with the senior market here in Brevard County. I understand you're not originally from Brevard County, is that correct?
No.
That is correct. I'm actually originally from Cincinnati, Ohio.
Just far from Dayton, Ohio.
Yeah,
we
just
talked
south of
about
Dayton,
the
exactly.
Buckeyes.
Yeah.
That's
Exactly.
right, yes.
And she was born in Lenexa, Kansas, and moved all over the country with her family growing up. And
we met in college.
In college in Cincinnati, where we met, and we moved to Chicago after we graduated because I had a job opportunity there. And we were there for about 9 years, and kind of got tired of the snow and wanted to come to the beach, so here we are.
I hear you, tired of the snow and ice and
Absolutely.
slush and
Didn't miss it at all this winter.
3 blizzards, we were done.
That was it. That was
We were
the end of
done.
that.
That's enough for us.
Well, I think that you probably, in all estimation, picked one of the best counties. I always say Brevard County is one of the biggest secrets in this country.
Absolutely.
It definitely is.
And it's
people
funny
knew.
Because,
If
and when they
people
find
knew.
out, they come back.
Yes, they do.
And it's like gravity here. It really does. It brings people in. Once you find out about it, you don't want to leave it.
I did a lot of research 2 years ago before we moved down here last year, called all different counties in Florida. And Brevard just kept sticking out. This little area of Melbourne kept sticking out, and we have loved it. It's amazing.
Excellent. Well, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Brevard County is the 24th oldest senior community or county in the United States.
Wow.
So you can imagine now that the secret's starting to get out.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Where they were going southern Florida or to the west side of Florida.
Right.
And they come to Brevard, it's just like, okay, this is really nice.
It's quiet.
It's a place that I can retire. And you guys in in-home personal services, I believe, are going to thrive here because not only is the secret out, but if we go by AARP standards, 50 plus, it's 1 in every 2 individuals.
Oh,
wow.
And so that's going to even grow larger.
Nice.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the need for what you do is going to be in a much higher demand than what you're noticing today, I believe.
Well, we are here and ready to help.
Well, I'm talking to Dr. Christina Paff and Steve Paff, her other half. I have to ask you, Dr. Christina Paff.
Yes.
You have a doctor's degree. Elaborate a little bit on that.
Yes, my doctorate's in physical therapy. Hence, I'm a home care physical therapist.
All right.
So ever since I graduated from college, actually, I've worked with the elderly population, whether or not it was a nursing home or in the hospital or in home care. And I have worked the longest in home care because I've loved going into their homes, helping figure out how to make things work, keep them safe, keep things ongoing. And I've trained enough caregivers that people have hired in to help them. And I've seen good and I've seen bad.
I'm sure.
And I wasn't very happy with the bad. I used to come home at dinner and I can't believe this, or oh, this happened. And so when we decided to do this, we said we're going to change the industry. We're going to change what people are made to feel that they have to get. You don't have to do that. There's options.
I believe you're on the right track. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, when I first started speaking with you and having you participate in our other outreach media, is that you hire strictly CNAs and HH.
Yes.
Home health aides, I should say.
HHAs. Yes.
I started to say that, but I got that.
You're right both ways.
I got it out. Okay. But, because of that, now you're in-home personal services.
Right.
You're able to actually you're not a beginning level per se.
No, we're not a companionship company.
Right.
We are a home health care agency licensed in Brevard County to be able to provide hands-on personal care. So we can assist with anything from dressing to showering to med assistance if they need those reminders to remember to take their medications.
Right.
Transportation to appointments, or just go down the coast. We have one client now that just likes to drive down the ocean, drives to the ocean and go up and down A1A. Things that make them happy.
That's the bottom line.
But that is the biggest difference with our license, is that we can provide hands-on care.
And that's important, because I recall I had a lady that called the other day at Helping Seniors of Brevard. And by the way, that number for people to get your number directly is 321-473-7770. So call me and I can put you in touch with in-home personal services. And but this lady was saying, I might need a little help getting out of the car.
Right.
So it's not like just hiring, transportation, because they can't really grab onto this woman's arm.
Right. We're not
by law.
We're not just a driver. Well, we can be if that's what you want.
Right.
No, we can help get in and out of the car, help with groceries, help, we have one client that needs our help picking out a top. She wants to go shopping. She's going out of town to see her daughter, and I need new clothes. So we help with all those things. And we even can kind of problem solve a lot of times with, if the car's too high to be able to get into. What do? We've bought little stools to be able to help them get into the car.
Excellent.
And that's where a lot of my background as a therapist really helps to come in, because I can adapt the house very easily.
And being that you're a doctor in physical therapy, you've got that extensive training and additional education.
Yes.
So that when you have a new hire, a CNA or home health aide, you probably spend a little more time with that individual to say, these are things that I think are important for you to observe, make adaptations, and help that individual to the best and put us a step above. Right?
Yes. Anytime we have a new client call in, I go out to do the assessment on them to really see if there's safety concerns, if there are things we can work on.
Right.
And when I place a caregiver out there, we can tell them the day before they go out there, this is what we're looking at. They've got a recliner that they love to sit in, but it is so low. They cannot get out of it.
To get up.
So we either need to make an adaptation to that or encourage another chair for them to sit in. So I kind of can help bring attention to some things like that before they ever even go out into the home. And that kind of helps, get them ready instead of walking in blind, the caregiver. But we tell all of our caregivers, our phones are on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Wow.
We get phone calls just last night, actually, one of the caregivers called and said, I really want her to start doing some exercises. She's really getting weak, walking back and forth to the bed. Can you give me pointers on how to make that happen?
That's a good point, because somebody coming out of rehab, and if you had your CNA or home health aide actually visit rehab to see what kind of exercises they're doing?
Yes, it has to be prescribed by a therapist for us to be able to do them, because we cannot provide hands-on care for exercises unless those exercises have been prescribed by a therapist, so our caregivers know exactly what they're supposed to do. But we do send caregivers all the time out to the rehab facilities,
That's
let
major.
alone to learn the exercises so the patient remembers their face.
That's
so when they come
good
home,
point,
it's
yeah.
not like I haven't seen you for
A
3 months.
stranger, exactly.
So it does really help for those aspects. But if they come home and they don't have those exercises because we didn't make it out to the rehab facility for whatever reason, we can always, recommend a Medicare certified company to come in.
Okay.
And a lot of times physical therapy, occupational therapy, those services can be provided. And then our caregiver can learn from that person.
From that person. Well, I'm privileged to be talking to Dr. Christina Paff and her husband Steve Paff. I know, Steve, you're biting at the bit over there a little bit, but
her passion actually is enough for me. I love watching her just get into this because you can tell she's so passionate about it.
I can see that.
She's great at it. If everybody had just a portion of the passion that she has, I think that the world would be a much better place.
I would totally agree with you on that because it's a lot of times seniors particularly, they're afraid to have a stranger come into their home.
Right.
They've had their dignity, they've had their independence, and now all of a sudden they may have to depend upon somebody for that extra help.
Right.
Well, that hurts.
Well, and that's the main thing too that we do try to provide is it's not we're not taking away independence. We're assisting them to maintain a level of independence that they're already,
That's the good point.
And that's really what we're here for.
Right.
By no means are we here to take anything away from anyone. We're here to help them.
We're that lending hand.
Exactly.
That's a good way to do it, but I like the name of your business, In-Home Personal Services.
Right.
So it can be personal in the fact that you can help with your CNAs and home health aides, help give them a shower,
Right.
help get them dressed. And I'm sure that, once a client has had someone in that capacity, they are saying, I feel so much better.
Right.
I couldn't do these things on my own.
Right.
And maybe I was in the same clothes for 2 days or 3 days. Have you found that?
Yes.
We actually, a very, very similar story to what you're sharing that now is we have a case where it was a similar situation. She had a difficult time getting herself up, getting cleaned up, things like that. And now they have spa day every Friday. And it's a standing, day. Our caregiver is ecstatic about every Friday afternoon because she gets to go over to this particular person's house and they do their spa day, they bathe and they do their hair and they make. So
this would make it feel
fun.
So
it's fun.
good.
And
But
that's
every case is individualized.
Right.
I think a lot of seniors, I think they need help, and it's this little box that they have to fit into.
Right.
Not
true.
one of our clients has the same care plan. Not one of them does the same thing with the caregiver. It's what they want to do, so they can maintain that individual, feeling of respect for themselves, of who they are. Not, I'm a senior, I now need help, this is what's going on.
And that's an important point,
Yes.
Christina, because so many seniors say, well, I feel like if I call, this
You're
service or
admitting
this
to-
service, I'm not going to be able to do what I want to do. I'm going to be told what I need to do. Wouldn't you put it in that perspective, perhaps?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so that's an important point, I believe so. Well, the fact that you hire CNAs and home health aides, this puts it up to the second level. It's not an entry. You're not doing companion services.
We also do offer companion services if it's something that people are interested in.
Well, and plus the fact that you said you just drive this gentleman around.
Yeah, and I mean, in all honesty, every service we provide, companionship is always a part of it. That's something that we check that box regardless, because whether or not we're there to bathe you or clean up or cook or whatever it may be, we're still going to provide companionship. We're not going to walk around, So that is certainly something that we always provide, and that's just kind of part of the deal.
Well, and that's part of developing a relationship with that caretaker too.
Yes.
Right.
So that over a period of time, in a short period of time, hopefully for you folks, is that they're going to say, I look forward to that person coming.
Exactly. And that's also important to note too, is that we do really strive to get the same caregiver in with the same client.
For the same person.
So you've got consistency with the caregiver.
Right.
That it just really helps for them to form that bond and that level
develop
of trust.
that relationship and trust. And that's so important because I mentioned earlier, Dr. Christina Paff and Steve Paff, that so many of the seniors may be reluctant to have an individual come in.
Right.
And I don't want somebody that's, changing their shift and blah, 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 blah.
Right.
But now let me ask you this. do you have a minimum or do you have a maximum? Let's go from one extreme to the other on the amount of time that you can send someone from in-home personal services to a specific client.
We require no minimums.
Okay,
we
that's
will come
awesome.
in there for an hour a week. We will come in there for 24 hours a day. We offer everything in between. We offer live-in care. Really, we cater everything to the specific client's needs.
Okay.
So, for instance, if someone does just want an hour-long shower once a week, just to help them kind of freshen up,
Sure.
we'll do that. If someone needs a full-on 24-hour live-in caregiver, we will also offer that. There's
I assume
really
that
no
would
limit.
be in shifts, though, because they have to be able to rest a certain amount of time.
There are a couple of different options. We can
Okay.
offer the split-shifted 24-hour care. We can also offer a live-in with the same person. We would hire it out as an independent contractor situation, so that person would then kind of come in as a subcontractor to us.
I gotcha.
But they're still, hand chosen by us, so that we know what we're putting out there.
Okay, that makes perfect sense. Well, again, I'm talking to Dr. Christina Paff and Steve Paff, the owners of family business
Yes.
It is.
with in-home personal services. So I like the fact that you two have connected, and I can see not only the compassion in you, but I see it in Steve too.
Well, I'm glad. Thank you.
I see it. So you're pretty much the guy behind the voice when somebody calls.
Yes,
Am I
I'm the
correct
one
on
that
that?
answers the phone, so now you can put a face to a name.
There you go.
I'm generally the one that's in the office. Christina's generally the one that's in the field. Our collateral pieces, our marketing stuff that goes out has our cell phone numbers on it, actually.
Okay, good. So that
you
you can be
going to
reached.
get one of us, regardless of day or night, obviously within reason, what time you call.
Right.
Of course.
But yeah, we are fully involved with the business from every aspect of it, and we really actually plan to stay that way for as long as we can. I mean, it's
And we have a very wonderful office manager who's kind of our right-hand woman, Liz, who helps us with, she came in for an interview and had the same kind of passion that we had.
Oh, excellent.
And so as we started to get more clients, we were like, oh, we may need a little bit more help behind the scenes and everything.
Exactly.
So she's like our right-hand woman. So you may talk to her also depending on what our crazy lives are entailing at that time, with the number of clients we sign on and all that kind of stuff. So.
Excellent. Well, if you talk about, the different levels of care and so forth, and again, it reflects going back to that seniors prefer to stay in their home and age with dignity.
Right.
And so you're allowing an avenue that's going to be, let's compare apples with oranges. Okay, somebody says, I need help. I'm not ready for assisted living on a full-time, okay?
Right.
Where there I would get, somebody helping them with a shower and getting dressed. I need a little assistance, but I'm in a room.
Right.
I may share that room.
You don't get that one-on-one care.
That's the difference. And I
Yes.
want you to elaborate on that because you've been to facilities, you understand.
Right.
And how can we explain to our seniors what a big difference that may make in a senior's life?
So it's all really based on what the senior wants. Some
Okay.
seniors want to stay in their house and they may be being told by their physician or family, we need to get some help in, mom or dad. We need
Right.
to. And so in that case, if they want to stay at their house, having us come in to provide that one-on-one care is great. We can do everything from keeping the house clean and tidy to taking them to appointments,
There we go.
getting them up and ready, all that kind of stuff. Some people like the interaction at an assisted living facility. They both have their big benefits to them.
True.
Activities, things going on,
Right.
eating in a big family type setting,
Right.
Items like that.
Mm-hmm.
But they lack that one-on-one care because assisted living facilities provide certain services. They don't provide those one-on-one, come to sit with you in your room or have
Right.
something special to do. And sometimes they even need help still going to appointments and stuff because
Sure.
in a facility that has, 150 beds,
Right.
some of that, care can't be taken care of all the time.
Exactly.
So we can be called in on top of those services that are being provided by the assisted living facility. We never want to step on the toes of those services.
I understand.
We work in conjunction to make sure that senior's life is the highest quality that it can be and that they're happy.
And that's a good point too, because we're certainly saying the senior has different options. And if we look at the first step, Dr. Christina Paff and Steve Paff, the fact that, all right, I'm ready to downsize. I'm going to miss my environment, but I feel like I need more socialization.
Right.
But I'm going to look at an independent living facility, for example. That'd be my first step.
Yes.
But there's going to be some times that I just don't feel up to taking care of myself in the respect that I should be. So you could be the avenue to come in and help that individual because they're not quite ready maybe for assisted living.
Right.
But they're in independent living, and now they have in-home personal services to say, come in, help them get dressed, help them, shower.
Just little reminders of what they,
But yet they still can be independent living.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. And they can still get the activities, they can still get the community relationships, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and I know a lot of reasons too is the lack of socialization.
Yes.
So we stress the activities and so forth. And that's probably why your gentleman, Steve Paff, was saying, I want to take that ride, right?
Absolutely. He just, he's a great guy. We love him, and he was lonely. He wanted to.
He still lives in his house,
and
that's what he wants. But
he is a very independent man. But he does want to live. He wants to enjoy his life, and he's certainly doing that. And I'm glad that we're able to help him do that.
He likes to see the Rockets.
He likes the Rockets.
Well, there you go.
Yep. He likes the Rockets.
Right.
Which who doesn't like the Rockets?
Of course. this is a space coast.
Exactly.
I believe it.
Exactly.
We're up at 1:30 in the morning to watch that rocket launch sometimes. So.
Well, you think about all the people saying, and people say, well, I live in Merritt Island, or I live in Melbourne, and they're from another state, and they said, well, I can't quite understand, where is that in Florida? I said, well, do you know where the rockets take off?
Right.
Yep.
That's why it's called the Space Coast.
Yeah, exactly.
So you came to the right place. We've got a lot of, like I said, as the beginning of the program here today, the fact that we've got a lot of people who are coming to Brevard. The secret's out. So if you were to clarify to viewers watching the show today, what kind of license do you have to take or to require to be in this business?
We have a home health agency license that does non-skilled care. So the moment you step into skilled care, you're dealing more with Medicare, with home health agencies that have physical therapists, occupational therapists, skilled nurses, items like that, that there's going to be progress shown to Medicare, a lot more paperwork, that kind of stuff. We do the non-skilled stuff, that is that daily living type stuff.
All right.
The showers, the dressing, the one-on-one care.
Well, let me go to the second part of that question. So everything you do for every client, I would assume would be documented?
Yes.
Yes.
We have a very in-depth daily visit note that we fill out that is probably a little bit more in-depth than it needs to be, but because I work on the Medicare side also as the home care physical therapist,
there you go.
I'm just trained that way. But our daily visit note pretty much outlines anything under the state of Florida that they allow our caregivers to do.
Okay.
So if it's on that sheet, they are allowed to do it.
Okay.
Which it's all check marks and circles, which allow very easy so they don't forget anything.
Makes it easy.
And we have them fill one out for every visit or every day that they're there. Okay. So we can look at it from visit to make sure that there's no changes. One day they're a supervision for something and the next they're minimal assist.
Okay.
That may, entitle a call to the doctor and call to the family saying something's not right with mom or dad. Assist level has gone up huge.
And I was just going to say that observation with each client is so vitally important.
Right. And
we have caught a lot with clients
we have.
to keep them out of the hospital and keep them home. Yes. Just from those daily visit notes to be able to compare.
Yeah.
Or our caregivers calling saying something's not right, something's not right. I'm like, call the doctor, get them in for an appointment, call the doctor.
Exactly. And that's how you train them to be more
proactive,
diligent in order to make sure those details are definitely monitored.
Yes.
Well, that's important. And Dr. Christina Paff and Steve Paff, the fact is that people have choices here.
Yes.
Then there's a mirage of different kind of choices. Who do I go to? Where do I go? Who do I turn? I bet you bottom dollar, you talk to a lot of the family members, right?
Yes, we do.
And are they saying, well, hey, mom doesn't want any help. How can we get her passed? Because we see she does need help.
Right.
Yep.
So you're that bridge here coming in maybe with a second opinion.
Right.
Yes.
To help explain to mom, look, your daughter's concerned about you. Go ahead, Steve.
And I think the real forte, I think, with Christina especially is that when she is put into this situation, we also allow the children to become children again and not caregivers themselves.
And that's important.
You know,
oh my gosh,
it's so important because we see a lot of strained relationships between parents and their children, and nobody wants that.
And sometimes they're going to head to
absolutely.
head.
Right.
And we would much rather be the one.
And nothing's getting accomplished.
Right.
Because you're just arguing with one another.
Exactly.
Right. So our primary
point.
focus is to get, let's let the family be family again. Let's let us come in and really kind of maintain the situation and give our input, if nothing else, because it's just going to help things to go back to normal, within the family.
But we do have a lot of cases where the daughter or son will call and there's, I want mom to get help, but mom's not ready for it. So we'll go in and talk and then the visit won't go well. They don't want anybody coming in their house.
I know.
And I will tell the daughter, based on what the house looks like, based on what mom or dad looks like, there's not an immediate concern.
Right.
You could probably cut down on this or add this. Give it a week. Let's see what happens.
See how it progresses.
We've had numerous cases where then the patient is finding us going, where's that Christina? I wouldn't mind somebody coming and taking me to Walmart. I want to be able to go as long as I want to go.
There you go.
And so we then get in there one day a week.
Perfect.
Which then just helps to build, and it makes everybody a lot happier because
instead
things are
of
taken
fighting.
care of.
Exactly.
Right.
Well, we've got less than a minute left.
Okay.
Steve, do you have anything that you'd like to finish and tell our viewers about in-home personal services?
Mainly I just want to thank everyone for the very warm welcome that we've had. We're very excited to be here in Brevard County, and we're very happy that you've welcomed us with open arms, and we look forward to continually meeting more and more people. I will say Helping Seniors of Brevard has been a fantastic resource for us. We love everything that they're about. And we look forward to a really good relationship in the future with you guys as well.
Well, we look forward to a fantastic relationship with in-home personal services.
Absolutely.
And I want to thank you today for watching today's episode of Helping Seniors. And with great gratitude to have Steve Paff, Dr. Christina Paff, as part of in-home personal services. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.
We appreciate it.
I'm Joe Steckler. Thank you for joining our program today. I'd like to remind you that our senior information line is available to you at 321-473-7770. There you can get help and direction that could be helpful for your specific situation or circumstances. The work of helping seniors is very important, but we can't do it alone. That is why our sponsors here in Brevard County are so important. I'd like to thank our many area sponsors, businesses, and medical providers who support the mission of helping seniors that help us carry the cost of our media efforts. If you'd like to join us either as a business partner or simply donate as an individual, we would welcome your call at 321-473-7770. You are always welcome to visit our website at www.helpingseniorsofbrevard.org. Thanks so much for your help. It does make a difference.